Welcome to this week's episode of Cooking with Connie. This week we're going to be doing a little candy bar. So we're going to be making a gluten-free, sugar-free Twix bar. So of course with the Twix, the center of that is a shortbread crust. So that's what we're going to start with. So I've got my Connie's baking mix. Remember, you can always get that at the bargain center. If you're here locally, they mix it for us. Or I will give you a recipe to mix up your own baking mix that you can use cup for cup in any flour. So we've got 2 cups of that and a third cup of our sugar, and we're going to use a cup of butter that I've already got melted. I'm going to pour that into this, and then we will stir this up. I've also used a little bit of butter to grease my 8x8 pan over here because that's what we're going to put these in. That mixed up good, and then what we're going to do is just put this in our pan. And then we'll press it out, and then I got my oven heating to 350 degrees, and so we're going to pop this in the oven to bake while we mix up some of our caramel layer for the Twix bars. So this is going to be a pretty simple recipe. Get that pressed out in there, and I'll pop it in the oven, and then we'll be back when we get ready to do that next step of making that lovely caramel layer. See you soon. Okay guys, we're back with the next step. We've got our shortbread crust baked here to a nice golden brown. That only took about 10 minutes at 350 degrees, so really watch that because the original recipe said 20 minutes. So we are now going to be putting some of the stuff in here. This is my sugar-free sweetened condensed milk, which I will give you the recipe for. I've already made this up in advance, but it's a pretty simple recipe. We've used it for a lot of different things that we've done on our show, and it's super good. And this one's actually a dairy-free version because I like to use powdered coconut milk when I do it. So for those of you who are having to watch the dairy thing, I'm going to use about 14 ounces of that. All right, we got a stick of butter we're throwing in. This is going to be our caramel layer that we're creating right now. And we're going to use 1/4 of a cup of the allulose syrup. So that's going in there, and then we're going to use a cup of our golden monk fruit allulose. And then we're just going to turn this on to a medium heat and start cooking it. So this is all going to melt down, and then you're going to cook it for about 8 to 10 minutes until you get that caramel consistency. So the golden monk fruit, the nice thing about that is you get the color quicker, but you're wanting it to thicken up and everything. So we'll just be cooking this down, and then once it gets done, we will put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Remember, pure vanilla always, and then a little bit of sea salt in that. And this is going to be our next layer of our Twix bars, and we're going to go ahead and probably pop the crust into the freezer to let it set up while we're cooking this, and that'll help us set it up. You could put it in the refrigerator, but it's just going to take longer for it to cool down, so we'll probably try to expedite things today and put it in the freezer. So we'll be back when this layer is done, and we'll continue to proceed with our sugar-free Twix. Okay guys, we're back. Here is our beautiful caramel sauce that we're going to put on top of this shortbread layer. If I can get it out of the pan here. Oh my goodness. We are really excited about these cookies. Or not cookies, I guess they're candy bars. With a cookie crust. And we've got several different ways we've done our sugar-free caramel, so this one's a little bit different than some of the other ones we've done. But I think this is going to make a really nice creamy caramel. spread out. So this is going to go in the freezer again. Let it set up, and then we're going to do our last layer of chocolate, and we've decided we're going to put a little peanut butter in that just for a little extra flavor. So we'll be back when we get ready to do the next layer. Okay guys, this is our next phase of our Twix bars. So you can see our caramel has nice and set up there. And then what I've done here is I've taken a cup of the milk chocolate Chalk Zero. So these are sugar-free chocolate chips. They're delicious. Highly recommend them. And then I put about 2 tablespoons of the natural peanut butter in there, melted them together, and that's what we're going to put as our top coating on this Twix bar. And we'll pop this back into the freezer, let it set up, and then we'll cut these babies and we'll try them out. I think we're really excited about these new creations this week. So we'll be back shortly once this sets up, and we'll see what our final product looks like. So if you're a Twix fan, I don't think you want to miss these. These are our sugar-free, gluten-free Twix bars. Look, you got your shortbread cookie, your caramel, and your chocolate. And we put just a little sea salt on top just for kicks. So remember to check out this week's Cooking with Connie for all your gluten-free, sugar-free cookie needs. We got great creations on there. And we want you to like, share, subscribe, and hopefully this week you'll make some good choices.